Okay, Brian, here we go. Just going to recap a little bit of what we see in the analysis that I did for you and talk about a couple of ways we can set up some practice and start getting control over the lifting of the golf club and sort of the direction that that lead arm is going to go that affects the end of our backswing. So again, recap of a little bit of what you have going on from a pretty good setup position. We're going to see the arm and the club working very straight back, if not maybe even a little bit outward at that point. From there, what we see is you making an effort to get the club behind you. So we see a big roll of the forearm, or the whole arm, sorry, and the club face and club are sort of pitched back behind us with an open face. The side that we're trying to be on with that pattern, we'd be seeing a little bit more of that club working closer to the foot line at parallel to the ground there. It's not really, it doesn't have to be perfect, but as a reference point, we'd see something there versus something there. So we're going to see the lead arm being a little more inward, club face still sort of matching that spine angle. You actually have a really good control over that right now. From that position, we'd be able to see that right arm being deep, and we'd see the change in the verticality of that shaft. Okay, so you asked for a little bit of direction to some more videos on that are already on Course Kings to look at. I know Jeff Smith has done some stuff in terms of talking about some drills where he'll put a wet towel on top of this so that you can really feel the club being light when it's stacked up versus that club's going to be much heavier because the weight's not above our hands. So there's already some stuff on there about this backswing structure that we have filmed, but I understand the question of you wanting a little bit more of which one of those are going to be specifically relevant to you. Look through all of Jeff and Shaheen's videos. Any of the ones where we're talking about having a little more verticality of the shaft in the backswing and a little more depth out of the lead arm, that's dead on what you're looking for. That'll explain things in a ton of detail for you to reference back as we talk about this. So one of the easiest drills, I'm going to grab one tool here. One of the easiest drills that I've got, I love this little device. It lets me put sticks and noodles in the ground while we're inside. But this is what we're looking for. At address, if you had an alignment rod or an old shaft with a noodle on it, which is all this is, you can put it in the ground and you're just looking for this to go roughly right through on camera, sort of your upper shoulder right there. So if we were to scoot back, it would almost sit right on top of it. Now, what we're looking for here is, I want you to start paying attention. There's some more drills that we're going to look at here for this club head and not allowing it to be straight out, but I think this drill is going to take care of a lot of that as well. We're going to see a backswing to where the lead arm has to be inward. I want us to make a backswing to where that right arm isn't lifting through this noodle, but I'm going to want to see a takeaway and an end of a backswing where that right arm is going to be under and behind this noodle. What's going to happen there is when that right arm is going to have the depth and we can have a little verticality in the shaft, what we see to hit that golf ball now is a pitching of the shaft downward and behind us a little bit better. We'd be able to certainly see where that club's going to have to work into the golf ball from. We're going to see a much more neutral, much more shallow club path into that ball, because instead of being laid off and open where we have to pull down and square, we see a steepness that club's going to work inward on. We're able to start seeing some rotation that you already have in lower body downswing starts matching up with pitching the shaft back down and having a square club face. At that point, all we're doing through the hit is continuing to rotate. Very easy to hit a nice little push draw, not see those really thin divots diving a little bit to the right. So from this position, we're going to go, boom, we're going to start checking. Like I mentioned in our evaluation, we want to start looking and getting this club head closer and closer and closer and closer to the hands from that view. Not imperative that it be perfect. Even if it were a little behind or a little in front, we're going to be okay. It just has a lot of work to do from there to get to the top of the backswing, as we're seeing. The more we can feel like both of those pieces, the right arm and the club, work inward, and we still have control of the club face, from that point, we're able to work on with a little bit more verticality. Okay, so our chip shot practices can be as easy as make sure that you've got that under control, the takeaway piece, club's close to the foot line, club face is under control. From there, we finish the backswing to where we just really rotated. Right arm is very deep now. So we could even check that position. And then we're just going to chip a few shots out, really looking to see the path of that club in the out without having to rotate the face. So you're looking to see that golf ball start a little left for us, maybe draw back a little bit. It's really as simple as that, the first stages of sort of attacking some of the things you've got going on. If we can get this structured much more in that shape versus there, okay, there's two very different things that are going to have to happen in downswing, right? So if this is my golf ball, I'm set up to it. If I'm here, the next move is there. So I've got an open club face with a very horizontal shaft. To hit that golf ball, there has to be a pull down and squaring, which is definitely what we see in your golf swing. The opposite, or the direction that we're looking to go for you, is if I can start creating some of that depth early, that lead arm and the club get to have a little more verticality, so that the downswing becomes the shallowing of the pitch of the club with a square club face. Cleans up a ton of what you got going on. That's huge for driver. If we can start shallowing and start shifting that swing direction a little bit more out to the left for us, hitting downward and inward in driver excessively with an open face especially, is a recipe for very poor driving the golf ball. So more importantly, when we're talking about this, the driver, you'll see massive changes in ball flights. From a significant amount of depth in the right arm and a vertical shaft, we're going to see it much easier to shallow that club and run the path of the club outward with maybe even a little positive angle of attack with our driver. For the club golfer, I love seeing big high draws. There's a little more distance there. You guys are able to create a little bit more speed. We can't really hit a big high draw from a lead arm that doesn't have much depth and a club that is horizontal with an open face. Okay, we need to see those things under control so that ultimately we can control impact a little bit better. The drill with some sticks in the ground or an old club shaft with a noodle just like I have, again, you got the video. We're looking to see that right arm be deeper and deeper and deeper with a vertical club shaft instead of having to see it roll into the horizontal position. So starting out slow, you're certainly going to feel that the hands are working inward and the shaft's vertical. If you can start hitting some pitch shots, quarter shots, and even half shots from having that feel and then hitting it with the intent to see the golf ball start to the left, I think you'll very quickly start seeing the pattern change from club outside going to horizontal to club inside going to a little more vertical. That's certainly where we start a different domino effect for our downswing, which was ultimately what we're looking for, to shift that path a little more in to out, a little shallow or a little more control over the club face.